to the Pink Pod Podcast, where we talk a little bit about life. Wait, nope, wrong. Hello. Welcome to the Pink Pod Podcast, where we talk a little bit about VO and a lot of bit about life. VO as in voiceover. I'm gonna do that again. Beat up, bop, ba da bop, ow. Add this in. Oh, yeah. Brought to you by Olipop. Welcome to the Pink Pod Podcast, where we talk a little bit about VO and a lot of bit about life. I'm your host, Olivia Sarafina Washington, and what the heck are we doing? What is this? Well, you may be wondering why. Why another podcast? Well, as you know, there is a shortage of people with microphones talking into them like they know stuff. So, I'm here to save the day. You're welcome. And, I don't know, who am I? I'm a voiceover actress. My name's Olivia Sarafina Washington. I've been doing this for over 6 years. I actually hit 7 years in like a month or two. Or when this airs, that might be 7 years. I don't know. I've lost track of time. I'm a master in the craft. I've been consistently making 6 figures doing voiceover, and I offer consultations and stuff like that. And I felt like this would just be a good way to kind of share some knowledge. But like also, like I said in the intro, this is a little bit about voiceover and a lot of bit about life. So I'm an actress. My degree's in musical theater. So I'm silly and goofy, and who is my audience? Well, if you are a thespian, obviously this is for you. If you are a musical theater actress who graduated with your degree and went on tour with Nickelodeon and then fell into voiceover and you just want to kind of hear about the craft, this is for you too. Maybe you're a stage actor who is on Broadway and would like to know more about voice acting, or just hear a fellow actor creative speak about this really niche craft that's really cool. Maybe you're a Black person who doesn't see themselves represented in this type of media or this form of creativity and artistry, and know that you can make a living literally out of your New York City tiny closet. Maybe you are a fellow voice actor, and outside of just representation, maybe you're a Black woman and you want to see yourself represented, or maybe you're a minority and there's not a lot of us in this field, and I don't think a lot of us speak about it. The ones that are in it aren't really given a platform or creating a platform for themselves to speak about this craft, and I'm passionate about it. I love voiceover. I also just like talking in general, which, like, my company's name is Motormouth Productions, so kind of fitting. It's also called Motormouth because I played the character Motormouth Mabel in the musical Hairspray when I was in my junior year of high school, and I won the Schuler Hensley for that. The Schuler Hensleys are like the Tony Awards for high school theater here in Georgia, and so I won, so that was cool. But I don't know. Yeah, I want you to listen to this while you're driving home from work and you just want like a little giggle and a laugh and something easy. I also want you to like watch this while you're brushing your teeth because you have ADHD and you're like practically an iPad baby. To do any type of mundane task, you have to have a screen in front of you with something entertaining or something talking to you, like me. All I do is watch YouTube podcasts. My favorite are Caleb Heron. I love anything that Robbie Hoffman is doing. Anything that can make me laugh or hear or see interesting people. This podcast will be mostly solo. So yeah, that's really it. We will have a couple episodes with people that are in the industry, which I'm so excited about. I'm filming next week. I'm filming this in January, so by the time you guys see this in February, you will see this episode. but I am interviewing or just having a conversation with. I don't even want to say interviewing because I don't think I'm an interviewer. I think I'm just someone that likes to talk. And I am having a conversation with my engineer and my producer from the job that I do every week, which is Albertsons. Oh, speaking of jobs, let me list off some of the work that I do so you have a little bit more trust in me. I tell people you don't know me, but you hear me every day. I am the voice of the American Airlines TV spots. I am the voice of the Hershey's Cookies and Cream new media TV, all that stuff spots. I do the Knot, like the wedding website, like the Knot Vendor Marketplace. I also am in a commercial with Jennifer Coolidge. Oh, yeah. It looked like the 4th of July. Makes me want a hot dog real bad. Jennifer Coolidge and I did a Discover commercial that was so freaking cool because I got to actually like talk to her as we were working and recording, even though it was remote. I've done Best Buy, Adidas, ESPN, UEFA, where I have like a British dialect. It's really weird, and I didn't do well in that audition, so I'm confused why I booked the job. But anyway, and I just recorded an eBay commercial, and I just did a Macy's TV commercial, which hopefully will be out by the time this airs in February. But it probably will take a couple more weeks after that. But I'll post it when it's out. So yeah, I just booked a Macy's TV job. I just recorded that on Friday, and today is Tuesday. Anyway. Oh, and I'm most known for Dunkin' Donuts. So I was the voice of America, as people call it, for 4.5 years. I was the voice of Dunkin'. I did the America Runs on Dunkin'. There's nothing better than fall together. Like a brand new pumpkin spice latte at Dunkin'. That was my voice. America Runs on Dunkin'. That was life-changing, which I will tell you that story. Actually, it's a great story, and might as well segue into it. Now, because this is the first episode, it's kind of just blah, 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 all over the place, trying to get the thoughts together. Yeah. The episodes following will be definitely way more organized. This is kind of just like a, here's a taste of who I am in so many different ways, and I'm pulling it from my brain and it's ADHD. But the rest of the episodes will be like, hey, this is who I am, and I'm pulling it from my brain, and I'm still ADHD, but you don't have to feel like you're on this crazy, crazy roller coaster. Neptune entered Aries yesterday. There will be some astrology in this as well. As I said that I was going to segue into a story, immediately jumps into something else. I will get back to the story. I have not forgotten. But Neptune entered into Aries, and it's going to be there for like 14 years. And the last time Neptune was in Aries was the Civil War. So this is like the first and last time this will happen in our lifetime. And it's really big shifts and changes. I'm an Aries. I don't know. And so like things are getting real. Just know that. Lock in. I'm going to do some more research on what that means. And many people ask, the first question they ask is, how'd you get into voiceover? Like I said, I've been doing this for almost 7 years, consistently making 6 figures, and it's changed my life. So I love telling this story. I'll tell it a billion times. I went to school in New York. First, I started at Marymount Manhattan. In their performing arts program, I was there actually for my BFA in acting, BA in musical theater. I was doing a double major, which they only allowed a couple people to do back in 2013. I was selected, and they were like, yeah, we'd love for you to do this acting and also musical theater. The schedule was insane, dude. For an 18-year-old going to New York for the very first time, alone, ill-prepared, no winter clothes, grew up in Atlanta, Georgia my whole life. I just was like, what the heck? Like, I don't drive. My parents drove me to school every single day. And all of a sudden being thrown into this city with a double major, having to travel from the east side to the west side and voice lessons on the west side, and then dance at 8 a.m. on the east side, and then back to school on the west side, east side, back forth, taking the train, getting lost, new friends. It was just jarring for my soul. jarring for my show. And I just wasn't ready for that. And I hated it. And I said, I hate New York. This sucks. And so I said, I'm never going back to that place again. I also injured my back. I got a herniated disc. How did I get a herniated disc, you wonder? I was twerking at a party. Yeah, that's right. I was throwing that thing. Throwing it so hard that I had a herniated disc that I still have problems with to this day. I've had like so many back shots for it, like steroid shots. And like physical therapy and stuff like that. It's gotten a lot better now. I'd hope so. It's 2026. I got it 13 years ago. Jeez. I'm old. But I got a herniated disc. I went back to Atlanta, took a semester off, reapplied to schools. A friend of mine, Kendall Roney, shout out if you're listening, was at AMDA, American Musical and Dramatic Academy, LA. And I said, LA, sign me up, baby. Take me through there. And so off I went to LA, started at AMDA. They were giving me way more money because I also left Marymount because it was like I had no money. It was poor. Relatively. You know what I'm saying? Relative. And so started to get my degree in musical theater. Really enjoyed LA, but I didn't drive, so it's like I kind of just lived right on campus, which campus was right across from the Capitol Records building, mind you, and like right across from the Capitol Records building. For fun, we would go down to Hollywood Boulevard and talk to people on the Strip and walk on the Walk of Fame. You know what I'm saying? See our name in lights. Go to Ripley's, believe it or not. And that was cool, and I enjoyed it. But they offered a 1 semester vibe check at the New York campus of American Musical and Dramatic Academy, AMDA. And I said, you know what? Why not? I think it was like summertime or something. I said, sure, I'll do the 1 semester, right? I go to New York, AMDA. I loved it. I fell in love. I loved New York. The school is right next to the Lincoln Center fountain, and I used to say that I was going to get married at the Lincoln Center fountain. I saw so many proposals happen at the Lincoln Center fountain, and that fountain was like my fountain. It was just my solace. I sat at that fountain every single day, and like, God, you gotta go. Also, if you've been to New York or not been to New York, or you live in New York currently, if you have not been to Tatiana, the restaurant by Chef Kwame, it's right next to the Lincoln Center fountain, then go. Then you should go. So go. Ciao. Anyways. Oh wait, maybe I'll segue a little bit now into my like Juilliard story. I should share this. Okay. Before I even got into Marymount Manhattan, obviously the star that I was in high school, this big fish in a little pond, winning the Schuler-Hinsey Award and being like voted most talented as my senior superlative and voted most likely to be on SNL. Hey, there's still time. Hey, this is my audition, Lauren. Lauren Michaels, hit me up. I don't really write, but I can act. Junior in high school, it was time to audition for musical theater schools. This was all I was going to do. I knew this was all I was going to do. I never not knew that this was what I was going to do. I always knew that this was going to be my thing. Acting, performing, thespian. Like, it's what I do. I since I was a child, like, my parents would be like, we hear you the loudest when I had school plays and stuff. I'd just be like, nah, 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 like singing in groups, you know, in chorus or whatever. Like, chorus when I was little. I didn't take chorus in middle or high school, but this was my path. Everyone's like, Olivia, you're destined for Broadway. You're destined for the stage, kid. And, like, that'll also be another episode just talking about, like, me missing the stage. And, like, also, this is my audition if you want to cast me in a show. Anyway, I promise not to do that too much because I know that could probably be really annoying. And I don't want to be annoying like that. But, like, I mean, isn't everyone kind of annoying? Every star is a little annoying. It's cringe until you're famous. And then it still is cringe, but you're getting that check, honey. And that notoriety, baby. Anyway, it was time to audition for schools. I auditioned for NYU. Didn't get in. I auditioned for Cal Arts. I auditioned for, North Carolina School of the Arts. I auditioned for the Marymount, obviously, Marymount, Manhattan. And I auditioned for Juilliard. I didn't want to go to Juilliard because Juilliard doesn't offer musical theater. It's what I wanted to do. But I said, okay, I'll audition for Juilliard. I get to the audition. Little old 17-year-old me. Might have even been 16. Late 16s. I'm an Aries, by the way. I think I've already said that, but like you should really know. Aries, Virgo moon, Sag rising. Clock it. Write that down, Astro Girlies. I get to Juilliard. Like, it's literally like the movies where there's rooms, like dance rooms, filled with people. Well, no, that's not true. You walk through the doors first, and you're in Juilliard. You're at the campus, and everyone's on the stairs, and everyone's parents are there. And, I went with my mom, and we're all just, like, waiting. And you, like, sign in, right? And then they're like, okay, everyone that's auditioning, come upstairs. We go upstairs to these dance rooms. We go into the dance rooms. There's hundreds of us, like true cattle call type vibe. They have us prepare 2 monologues and a 16-bar cut of a song. Why a song? I don't know. But I guess they wanted to see if we can sing, even though they don't offer musical theater. Okay. I have my 2 contrasting monologues. I had been working with the acting coach. I have my 16-bar cut of bring on that pecan pie. Pour some sugar on it, sugar. Don't be shy. Screw me up a mess of that. Literally, Hairspray, Big Blonde and Beautiful. Big Blonde and Beautiful. Beautiful. Up for the leaves. You're the whole damn face. Oh, slide me out of the home trees. You might think I'm crazy. The way I've been craving. Child. Gosh, I gotta get medicated. Or not. Thumbs up if you like this. I love me. Okay, so they're in the dance rooms. Everyone's like in their corner, right? Like practicing their monologue. I have my headphones on. I'm listening to Masquerade from Phantom of the Opera. And I'm just getting in the zone. I think I probably talked to like a couple people, but I am that person that has to lock in. I am that person that is like, I can't see nothing to the left or the right. I'm sure if now at my age, if I were to go back into that kind of situation, I probably would make friends and just kind of chit chat. But I do have to lock in. I got to center myself. And that's headphones on. I finally go in. They call my name, right? Everyone's getting called one at a time. And when you finish, you just go back into the cattle call room with the hundreds of people just sitting there waiting. They call my name. I get in line behind like 4 people because 4 people get run to the hallway at a time. And there's the actual Juilliard students are there helping conduct the auditions, or past graduates. I forget if they're alums or if they're current students or whatever it is. I talked to one of them because I think one of them went to my high school, Woodward Academy. Go War Eagles. Excellence, character, opportunity. That was for my War Eagles right there. But I swear one of them I knew. Or maybe I met her at ThesCon. I don't know. All these like... It's like, if you know, you know, right? I go in. It's like a panel of 4 teachers. It's like a smaller dance room, darkish. I remember it being dark. Not a lot of light. Like one window at the top with light coming in. I do my monologue. They give me notes. I give the monologue again with the notes. They ask me to sing. If you get to that point of your audition at Juilliard where they ask you to sing, baby, bring on that pecan pie. Pour some sugar on it, sugar on. Don't be shy. Right. You get it. I sing. Then they're like, Olivia, sing it down here to this audience right here, or something like that. And I do it again and I sing it, right? And they're like, thank you. I walk out the room. I'm held at the door. They talk amongst themselves. I don't go straight back into the cattle call room. I don't go back in. I don't go back into the room. They ask me to come back into the room. They give me more notes. I do it. I do my monologue again. They say thank you. I go back into the cattle call room. We all sit in the cattle call room, continue to wait for everyone to finish their auditions, and literally like the movies, one person walks out, pins a list to the door, and says, if your name is on this list, it's giving Tyra Banks, I have 2 pictures in my hand, or 1 picture in my hand, whatever it is, I forget, I don't know. Did you see that she has that new documentary coming out where she said, I didn't want to go that hard, but you guys made me, like blaming the audience for the craziness that was America's Next Top Model. Ciao. Anyways, if your name is on this list, please, what did they say? Please immediately head upstairs. Oh, no, please stay in this room or something like that. Or please stay on this floor or something like that. If your name is not on this list, please immediately get on the elevators and leave. Right. Okay. My friend BJ was also at this audition with me. He was also he went to elementary school with me, middle and high school with me, and was also voted. He was voted most talented, the male. I was the most talented woman. He was the most talented guy. I guess back then I wasn't a woman. I was a girl. Whatever. Well, I guess I was a woman. I don't know. And ain't I a woman? Sojourner Truth. Okay, so they post the list. Everyone goes running towards it. I don't. I'm anxious, right? Everyone is going, no! Oh my God! Oh, fuck this place. I don't hate it. I hate Juilliard. No, no one even wants it. You know, like everyone's like, no, oh my God. You know, because it's a list of 12 names. And this is not just for the undergraduate program. This is for their master's and their undergraduate, right? And here I am, late 16s, early 17 years old. I finally go up to the list. My last name's Washington, so I'm literally like literally like the movies. Olivia Washington. I'm like, oh my God. They tell us to stay on the floor. I'm telling my mama, are you kidding me? I'm in the elevator. Everyone's like, I didn't want to freaking go here anyway. I didn't want to be here anyway. This school sucks. I didn't even want to get to even to my top. And I'm just sitting on the elevator like. Oh, baby. I get off that elevator and go, Mommy, I made it. I'm on the list. And she's like, oh my God, congratulations. Go back upstairs. And I see BJ's mom because she's talking to BJ's mom. And I tell BJ's mom that he made it as well. Oh, because he made it as well. And so I go back upstairs and I meet everyone. And I'm like, hey, wait, no, I'm on the list. Because they're starting to like shuffle. And then they were like, all right, everyone, if you made it, congratulations. Come with us. We go up to the next level. Literally, we go into the next level. Like, we go up into the next level. We're at the next level. We take the elevator up. Oh, look at all these birds. Oh my gosh. There's like 100 birds flying. You can't see it, but outside my window, I look over the water and all this beautiful stuff. And there's like hundreds of birds migrating. They do this every day. It's like it's winter or something that the birds are migrating. We get brought up to the next level. They open these doors. We go into this huge hall. There's food everywhere. The vibes are immaculate. Everyone's so kind. It's just everyone's like, oh, hi, hey. And all the students and alums, and there's teachers, and you get to meet them all. And so we get to eat. We then meet the teachers that would literally be our instructors at Juilliard. And they're just like, so great to meet you. We play some games. We do some activities. And then we write an essay or something. Like, they give us a page to fill out about, like, why we want to go to Juilliard. Me on mine. I don't. I'm like, why didn't I get in? On my page, I go, I don't want to go here. I'm kidding. No. Please. Once you get brought into that next level, when you level up, I'm like, oh yeah, I want to go here. They recognize my greatness. I want to go here. Y'all selective. I like that. Anyway, it's so silly. It's so fun. You go in one at a time, then again, and do your monologues, and you get more notes, and you're just staying there all night. You're just all night. You get to play with these instructors and professors and professionals in their craft, and it's just so fun. And I loved it. It was so good. And the people that were writing their essays with me, like all the 12 people that got in, like 7 of them were there for the masters. So the rest of us were undergraduate, but I was the youngest person there because people were coming for their undergraduate, but they were like 25 or like 26 or like, whatever age. And then the people that are getting their masters are people with children and like, whatever it is, and a little older and in their 40s or 30s. Me, 30. So it's like, it was just an honor. They were like, oh my God, you're so young. That's what they kept saying to me. They're like, you're 17 or 16, whatever I was. You're 17 and you're here right now? I was like, honestly, I could cry. Like, that's so cool. Like, at 17 years old, they saw a room of hundreds of people and said, you're good enough to get into one of the most exclusive, high-end, whatever, like top caliber, professional, star-making schools. And so the night was awesome. And my mom, we went back to our hotel and, went to sleep. And a couple weeks later, I get an email that's like, sorry, you didn't make it in, but womp, womp, womp. But I ended up where I needed to go. So back to my story. I go back to New York, AMDA, New York, and it was awesome. It was lovely, and I graduated. And we had a senior showcase before I graduated for musical theater. And I sang, I did some monologues, as they do. At AMDA, they have senior showcases in front of casting directors, in front of agents, stuff like that. I perform, I do my thing. I graduate. I'm working as a camp counselor post-graduation for a couple weeks. Is that what happened? So I'm living in the dorms. Yes. So as a camp counselor, you get to live in the dorms. So I'm living in the dorms, camp counselor. I hope I haven't been yelling into this whole time. Everyone's like, my ears. My ears. I'm like, God. I'm working as a camp counselor at AMDA. It was so fun. It was so freaking fun. To incoming potential students of AMDA, they're high school students that are doing this like summer intensive. I'm one of their camp counselors. I freaking love being a camp counselor. It's the best. It's the best. It's the best. I finished that, and my friend Layla, who I went to AMDA with, is looking for an apartment in New York. She moved back to Texas after graduation for a couple weeks, and now she's looking for an apartment. Her parents were kind enough to say that I could live with her in the second, like I could take the second bedroom and pay like $400 because I had no money. But they were like, we'd love for her to have a roommate. Any amount helps as far as like money, but like it wasn't about the money. It was just like wanting her to have a roommate, and like they liked me, and so it worked out, and we're friends. So we found this beautiful apartment in Washington Heights that was huge and stunning and wonderful. And I never bought a bed frame. I just had a mattress on the floor, and her parents were like, "Are you sure you don't want us to just buy a bed frame and like you can pay us back later?" I was like, "No, no, no." After finishing the summer intensive, I got called in actually during like the last couple of weeks of the summer intensive. This is my longest story I've ever told about how I got into voiceover. But it's like only on the Pink Pod podcast are you going to get this type of detail and these nitty-gritty things, because I've spoken about this story many times on other podcasts. The Get Messy podcast with Maddie. She's actually the reason that this is even happening, so thank you. Watch the Get Messy I can't even freaking say it. Watch the Get Messy podcast. Also about VO. She's fabulous. She's wonderful. But yes, only on here are you going to get the nitty-gritty details, because I have the time. Yeah. Okay, so I auditioned. I got called in to audition. I got called in to audition for Paw Patrol Live. My last couple weeks of my camp counseling job. One of the casting directors, Michael Casara from New York. Shout out, Michael. Hope you're watching. Book me in something, honey. I'll come back to New York. Don't pull my leg. Wait, don't twist my arm. You don't have to twist my arm. I'll come back to New York. Don't pull my leg. Well, don't trick me either. Don't pull my leg. Whatever. I audition I get an email. Olivia, we'd like for you to audition for this Nickelodeon National Tour of Paw Patrol Live Race to the Rescue. First time that the TV show Paw Patrol, from Nickelodeon's most successful kids show, it's going on the road in a national tour. We'd like for you to come in to audition for the role of Mayor Goodway, which is, she's black, she's the mayor of the town, and she has a chicken in her purse. Chickaletta! And she talks like this. "Oh, Ryder, thank goodness you're here. Oh, Ryder. Oh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do?" Thank you. And so they called me in to audition. I had to miss like a day or two of my camp counseling job. They let me go. I studied her because she's on TV. So I studied the original voice actress, which, little story, she's originally voiced by a white woman, and due to the 2020 strikes against like voice actors playing characters that are minorities, she has been replaced with a black woman, a Canadian black woman actress. So cool. But anyway, I went into that audition, freaking smashed it. Another one of my friends from college, Aaliyah, also auditioned as well. She also auditioned as well. But even she was like, "Girl, you got it in the bag. You are Mayor Goodway." And I said, and is. Because I studied her voice, and I just like repeat it over and over and over again. And I look like her. Like, if we can insert picture here, I look like her. It just fit the curvy body. Body crazy curvy. Her body is crazy curvy. So I just fit I am Mayor Goodway. You know what I'm saying? So I auditioned, killed the audition, and got called back immediately, like next day or day after. Came back in, smashed it. I had to sing a song, "Dream Big, Fly High," one of their original like Paw Patrol songs I had to learn, and I smashed it as well. Smashed it. Smashed it. I remember Jack, who got cast as Chase in the original cast, our first tour. Spoiler alert. But yeah, he was there too, and he was like, "Girl, I knew it from that red dress because I wore the red dress that I wore for graduation, from my college graduation. I wore that red dress to the audition." He was like, "When I saw you in that red dress in that audition room, I knew you booked it." I said, "I know, that's right." So I killed it. I know I killed it. And so I went back home. I had no job at this point because now camp counseling ended. When I said back home, I went back to Washington Heights, living with Layla. The counseling job ended. And I'm just sitting pretty, baby. Like, what else is there to do? I know I just booked this national tour. What do I look like looking for a job? 1 week goes by. I heard nothing. I'm checking all the blogs and like trying to find like where actors are talking about auditions and stuff. People are saying they haven't heard anything. 2 weeks go by. Okay. Like still not hearing anything. 3 weeks go by. The depression sets in. Because what do you mean you haven't called me up and said, pack your bags? You need to go to Minnesota right now to start rehearsals. What do you mean? Do you know who I am? Do you know that I just killed that audition? Do you know that I'd like thrive? Do you know that I need this because I don't have a job and like, hello, I'm sleeping on a mattress on the floor. At this point, my mom is like, all right, Olivia, you need to get up and like get a job or something. Like, wipe your tears, get up, do your work. Do work, do something, right? And I'm like, okay. I go and interview for the travel team at AMDA, which is like the group of people that travel from state to state, city to city to audition incoming students, potential incoming students, hopefuls. I then get a job at Jacob's Pickles, which at the time was my favorite restaurant in New York, Upper West Side, if you know, you know, Amsterdam in like 80 something. I get a job as a host there, and I get a job as a nanny. I have worked as a nanny on and off throughout my life. I'm really, really good with kids, and kids love me. It's probably my angelic energy that they just feel and they gravitate towards, and they see that I'm like one of them, an angel and a pure soul. So they like me and I like them, and I get to be silly with them. I get to like get paid to be silly and run around and swing on the swings and play catch and laugh and watch cartoons. That sounds like my life anyway. Might as well get money for it and not look like a weirdo on the playset when I'm like swinging and parents are like, she's here by herself. I accumulate all these jobs. The family that I'm nannying for is a black family on the Upper East Side. Their son is like 8 at the time or something. And during the interview process, they were like, we need someone like full time and blah, blah, blah. And at this time, I'd just given up. I'd given up on my Paw Patrol dreams because I hadn't heard anything. And I'm like, I guess they just didn't pick me, you know, like, let's move on. You know, I guess they just didn't choose me. I started like training-ish for the travel team for AMDA. And that interview process was long. Like I had to go through a lot of interviews. I did my first day at Jacob's Pickles as like a, what is that called? A shadow or something where like a trail, not a trial, but a trail where I trail somebody. I've never worked in a restaurant before. The only thing that I'd worked besides nannying or camp counseling, I worked at Euphoria, the yogurt shop here in Atlanta that is no longer, but I freaking loved it. Frozen yogurt. Bring back frozen yogurt. People are talking about bring back 2016. Yeah, bring back frozen yogurt shops, like good ones with lots of toppings and flavors like taro. It's my favorite flavor of frozen yogurt. So I worked at a frozen yogurt shop, but I never worked like in a restaurant. So this is my first time. So I did the trail. I remember finishing that day. It was only like half a shift. My feet hurt so bad. I was so tired. And then the first day that I go to pick up the kid from his school, private school, Upper East Side, I get a call. I'm walking off the train and I get a call. Hello? Old school right here. Hello? I'm doing, if you're just listening, I'm doing like a phone, the old school like modeling of a phone. So I go, hello? They're like, hi, Olivia. This is Rebecca from V-Star. We loved your audition and we just want to see, they were like, we're just checking to see if you've decided on Mayor Goodway, or if you've gotten a call from someone else for the offer for Mayor Goodway. And I go, no, this is my first call. She's like, oh, well, I'd like to offer you the job of Mayor Goodway in the national tour of Paw Patrol Live, Race to the Rescue. I was like, what? What? Are you serious? They're like, yeah, we start in 2.5, 3 weeks or something like that. You have to meet us in Minnesota. We'll fly you out and we start rehearsals in 3 weeks. It must have been like 3 weeks. We start you in 3 weeks. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, congratulations. I was like, oh, okay, thanks. And I didn't have an agent at the time. It was just me. So it was just me. Like, there's no one to talk to but me. And I'm pretty sure I said, yeah, I'd love to. Thanks. So I pick up the kid from school and we go home and we're watching The Loud House on Nickelodeon. In the loud house, in the loud house. And I'm just like, I'm going to be on Nickelodeon. I'm going to do Nickelodeon stuff. Nickelodeon. And, he's like looking at me like, okay. And I go home. I call my parents on FaceTime. This would have went viral if it was these days. Like if I was videotaping it. Gosh, I wish I did. My brother was still living at home because he was in high school. I asked my parents to come to the phone and my brother on FaceTime. And I go, hey guys, I just wanted your opinion on when's the best time for me to come home so I can come home for a little bit before I start and leave for the national tour of Paw Patrol Live, Race to the Rescue. And they go crazy. And I'm just like, oh my God. So I go to the job a couple more days. I go to the babysitting job a couple more days. On like the third day, when the mom gets home, I'm like, hey, I have to like tell you this thing. So I let her know that I booked the tour and that I have to leave. The kid starts wailing. I've only known him for like 2 or 3 days. And he's like, why is she leaving me? And I was like, wow, that's really sad. And she's like holding him and she's like, just go. It was so dramatic. And I was like, what? And so I just kind of like creep out the door and I'm like, sorry. And like close the door. She ends up like calling me or emailing me and being like, hey, I need you to come in for like a couple more days to at least finish this week or whatever and train this new person. So a new person comes for like 2 days and I train her on like the things that I've learned in my 3 to 4 days of working. Okay. I'm like, this is where I pick him up and this is the playground we go to. And so anyway, God, I pack my bags. I freaking go to Minnesota. I want to say that's where I was. Minneapolis. I don't know. It's one of those places where the Mall of America is. That's where our rehearsals were. We had rehearsals. The Nickelodeon executives were here we go. We're back on track for the voiceover stuff. Here we go. But this is also just like the first episode where I'm just like telling you who I am and how I got my start and like how I'm here. Because I do recognize that not a lot of artists make it to this point. Get money from their craft, are successful in ways in which could support a lifestyle and or support their families. I recognize that I am highly blessed to be in the position that I'm in, and it's not common. So that's why I'm sharing, and I hope that this story is giving like energy. I hope this story is giving is what's the word? Encouraging and like a testimony and a what's that word? Inspiration. That's the word. Inspiration. To be like, it can happen. It can happen for you. I'm no one special, particularly. I'm just me, and it happened to work out for me in this way. So keep hope alive. The The Nickelodeon executives are there for the rehearsal. Because we are the original cast and this is being built from the ground up, we are setting in place what is now the Paw Patrol National Tour Race to the Rescue. We have me and my cast and our team and the director and everything, and Jamie, the choreographer, and everyone. We are the ones that did the trial and error. We are the ones that set the pace for the track, because this is a track show, meaning that it starts, the sound engineer pushes play, and it just goes. So if you miss something, there's a sound cue that happens regardless you're ready or not. So if I go, right, chickaletta, and then I have to wait for, I had to have an internal clock, internal timing to know every time that the chicken bacard, I had to say my line at the correct time, or it would be like, right, chicken, and that happened too sometimes, or it'd be like, right, chickaletta, and either way, I don't know, it keeps things interesting, doesn't it? So the Nickelodeon executives were like, hey, you're really, really good. Like telling me during the rehearsal process, you're really, really good. If for some reason the TV show actress were to stop doing it, we would call you in. That happened. I did not get called in that way, but it worked out in other ways. We would call you in to do the voice acting for this character of Mayor Goodway on the Nickelodeon TV show. And I go, maybe I should do voiceover. I never really thought of it. Of course, every actor is like, I want to be on the movies and do the voice of that famous character Moana, or whatever it is. But it's a desire. I wrote it down in my, oh my God, my journal, super burpy from my Alipap. I wrote it down in my desires and my goals and my journals that I wanted to be a voice a character. I wanted to be on a Netflix TV show, all these things that have now happened, thank God. But, it just really sparked my confidence in that space. And so I do the tour, 2 years, 500 shows, celebrities like Kim Kardashian, Fergie, Sierra, Faith Evans, Russell Wilson, so many different celebrities with children came to the shows. Best 2 years of my life. Best 2 years of my life. Traveling every 3 days. Sometimes we had week sit downs, but we traveled by tour bus and or fly. I hated flying because then flying, my bags were always overweight. But with the bus, I could have heavy bags and stuff. I made some of my best friends. I'm still best friends with Roger, who was on my second leg, and Nick, who was on my second leg. Who else was on my tour that I'm still really close to? If I'm forgetting you, sorry. I love you all. But those are the people that I stayed the most in contact. Oh, Emily. Hi, Emily. Sorry, guys. If I've forgotten you, sorry. If I'm not, whatever. So those are my people. Whatever. I've made some of the best friends on that tour. I got to travel everywhere, like every single city, except for the Dakotas and probably a couple more, but like everywhere. We traveled everywhere. We performed at Madison Square Garden. We had like 9 shows at Madison Square Garden. So it was awesome. Like, it was so cool. And we had sold out shows and we were breaking records and they threw parties for us. And I loved my character. And a lot of the reviews were like, this show sucks. But Mayor Goodway is fabulous. This show, not so good. Wish I didn't spend $400 on it. But Mayor Goodway, she's a star. Which to that I said, but some reviews were like, she's so shrill, that Mayor Goodway character. Some people were like, is the character on TV written about this woman on stage? Which was really cool. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. I finished the tour in 2018. I go back to Atlanta. I live at home for a little while, work as a after school teacher, which is where I met my best friend Nzinga. Shout out Nzinga. I think I'm going to have her on too, just to like We can have fun. Also, shout out to our podcast that is coming out February 22nd, called Sister Signs. Watch Sister Signs. That is our podcast that we're doing together about astrology, and like she's a Leo, Jesus. She's a Libra, I'm an Aries, so we are literally sister signs. We're locked in. It'll be so freaking fun. If you think this is fun, tap into that, baby. Tap into Sister Signs. That's where we have some real fun. I go back to Atlanta. I get an agent. A little bit about, who you know. My parents knew an agency here. I was with Jay Purvis here in Atlanta. They would send me tons and tons of auditions. And it would kind of be like, just choose if you want to do it. Like, it wasn't tailored to me. But I would do the auditions on my iPhone headphones, literally on my iPhone, recorded on the Notes app. This is back when you didn't have to have your own home studio set up, and you just got to record in your closet, and just like they take you in person. They bring you in person if you booked a job. They rent out a studio for you. So you didn't have to have any equipment or anything else for voiceover. You didn't have to have a sound interface and a computer and this, you just recorded on your iPhone headphones. Speak into the mic because it's pretty clean and crisp, honestly. But don't do that anymore. Now you need your own equipment. And so I booked nothing. I did tons and tons of auditions. I was working at the after school care program. I booked nothing, right? I then I moved back to New York at the beginning in March of 2019. I booked one job. I'm still auditioning remotely, sending it in. And that was for SoFi Banking Company. I do that campaign for a whole year. I'm living in Washington Heights in a 4-bedroom, 1-bathroom with 3 guys, 2 of which who went to my school, AMDA. Best time. I had no money, but it was the best time. And like a little money was coming into SoFi, but another episode I'll speak about how the money comes in with voiceover. It comes in so sporadically and so not when you need it. That if you don't have a credit card, then you just like don't have money. Excuse me. And then if you do have a credit card, then you just have a ton of debt. Love that. And so, and then you get a check and then you clear off the debt and then it happens again, you pay it off in one swipe, whatever. So I am going in person, recording SoFi in an in-person studio in New York, Lotus Productions. Shout out Jim. At the Lotus Productions studio. I'm going almost every week or every two to 3 weeks, recording SoFi. He goes, Olivia, you're really good. Do you have a New York agent? I go, no. He says, I have some friends I want to introduce you to. Fast forward, he introduced me to DDO New York. That is who I'm with now. And they absolutely changed my life. Marissa, Allie, Eileen. Those are my gals. They changed my life. I signed with them towards the end of 2019. Immediately started booking. I did an Adobe job for Tierra Whack, who was one of my favorite artists now, but I didn't even really know her as much back then. But I did an Adobe job for Tierra Whack. I think that's when I booked an Adidas. Hello, can I speak? It's getting late. I think that's when I booked an Adidas job. I just started booking immediately with them. Things were just happening rapid. Riscato Wine. Oh, no, that was with SoFi. That was with Jay Purvis. But anyway, I'm booking, right? The pandemic hits. It's 2020 now. The pandemic hits. It's the beginning of 2020. They say, if you want to continue in this career, they had a meeting with all of us. If you want to continue in this career, then you need to have your own home studio set up. You need to invest in a mic. You need to invest in a sound interface. You need to have this, blah, blah, blah. And I had it already. I already had the equipment. I forget what point it hit that I had bought my own. I was in my Washington Heights apartment still. So maybe when I signed with them, they were just kind of like, you need to have a professional grade setup. But when 2020 hit, they were like, you really need a professional grade setup. No more in person, right? So I got all the blankets and stuff to make everything so professional. I leave my Washington Heights apartment. My friend Jack moves moves back to Australia. I stay in New York during the pandemic. I moved to an East Harlem apartment by myself. I'm practically in the city by myself during the pandemic. I had a couple people that I knew. We hung out every now and then, but like, I'm collecting that unemployment check, honey. I'm collecting that unemployment check. I am living my best life on my Whole Foods delivery. Honestly, the pandemic was terrible for a lot of people. Living in New York during that time, it was fabulous. I lived across the street from Central Park. I was living my best life. Living my best life. It was awesome. I um I have a few auditions that I do. I book a couple jobs. I booked one for like Apple News. I did a spot on Naomi Campbell. That was cool. But then I moved to Williamsburg in summer of 2020. That was life changing. Williamsburg, oh my gosh, I lived right near the ferry. That changed my life. Taking the ferry, oh my gosh, it was life changing. People were sitting outside, eating, living their best freaking life. Like Williamsburg, North 4th Street, if you know, you know. Kent. Um, I get an audition, and this is the life-changing moment. I get an audition for Dunkin' Donuts. Summer 2020. I see this audition come in. It came in pretty late at night. There was no real time during the pandemic. I think I was out with friends or something, or maybe living my life. It's due like at 9 a.m. I was like, I'm tired. I don't want to do it. So I don't. And back then I didn't have like the maybe the respect that I have as much now for getting back to my agents and stuff like that. I just kind of it was pandemic time. Things didn't count back then. Okay. I see the audition come in. I go to bed. I wake up the next day and my agent emailed me and was like, Olivia, we didn't get your audition yet. I think you'd be really good for this job. Can you get this in? I was like, can I turn it in by this time? She's like, sure, it'll be late, but I'll see if they'll take it. I really think you should do this audition. Shout out Allie. Shout out. I do the audition. I roll out of bed. I'm like, oh, I'll do this audition. Go to my little setup in the closet. Boot bop. America runs on Dunkin'. You know, send it in. A couple days later, I'm put on hold. Being put on hold means that they're looking at you and a couple other people for the job. I'm like, oh, I guess, Allie, you're right. Good thing I did the audition. That means that, like, they're really noticing me, that they might want me for the job. Hold this day to record for this TV spot. I'm walking around Williamsburg near Madewell and all those shops that are there. I get the email. Booked. This was my very first union job, like TV SAG union job. What that means is that this is a job that would pay me residuals, meaning, yes, you get the session fee of whatever that is, maybe $250 or $500, whatever it is. But then on top of that, every time the commercial plays, you get paid. This is life-changing money. You know what I mean? Like life-changing money. Life-changing money. So I book it in all my agents, but I didn't know this at the time. But all my agents are emailing, oh my God, yay, Olivia, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, like, yeah, another job, Dunkin', woohoo. And I go into Madewell and buy myself a little something nice because I was like, I deserve it. I record the job for Dunkin', and, you know, life moves on. A couple weeks later, maybe 3 or 4 weeks, and it's for their oat milk and their pumpkin spice latte. So back in 2020 is when they introduced their oat milk latte. I was the person that did that. And then I did their iconic pumpkin spice latte. The pumpkin spice latte. After that, I live my life, you know? And then I see a check roll in, and it's like for this session fee. Maybe it was like $500 or something like that. I'm like, okay. A couple weeks later, I get that check, honey. It had 000. I said, oh my God. And then the checks just kept on coming, and they kept calling me back for 4.5 years. Dunkin, if you're watching this, please bring me back. I would love to come back. No hard feelings. No hard feelings, girl. Yeah. Dunkin changed my life. It changed my life. I was able to support my family, help my family out. I moved from that Williamsburg. I was living with roommates in Williamsburg when I was living there. I moved from Williamsburg to my first ever studio apartment. And then later, like this huge 17th floor penthouse apartment with solarium windows and all this stuff. It changed my life. It changed my life. My rent when I lived in Washington Heights, for perspective, was $630 with 3 roommates, right? I could barely afford that most months because I was working as a nanny at that time. I forgot to mention that I was also working as a nanny when I finished tour and moved back to New York and was doing SoFi. I was working as a nanny, barely able to afford it. My rent at my penthouse apartment that I lived in New York in 2022 was $5,350. $5,350 monthly. My Zelle limit was $5,000. I had to pay my rent in 2 separate payments because it went over my Zelle limit. $5,350 every single month I was paying for rent for this stunning apartment. And I could not afford a $600 a month place 2 years prior. Whoa, that's crazy. That is quantum leaping right there. That's insane. So anyway, as the sun is set, that is my story. I planned for this to be like 30 minutes. Anyway, I've been doing voiceover ever since. It's now been almost 7 years, and welcome to the Pink Pod Podcast. I hope that you keep watching because we have some really cool stuff in store. And thanks for joining, and find me on all the things. I'm Olivia Sarafina on everything, on Instagram, on TikTok. My TikTok is like my fence, so though don't pay attention to my TikTok as much. Yeah. Thanks for watching, and this is the first episode. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah. Bye. Hi, thank you so much for tuning in to the first ever episode of the Pink Pod Podcast. Don't forget to thumbs up it and like it and tell your friends and tell a friend and tell that person that's interested in getting into voiceover to tune in, or that person that's a thespian and wants to hear somebody talk shop, or someone that just likes to hear about the creative industry and my life in a way, and astrology, and to laugh, and to someone who enjoys living life. Just share it to anyone that's breathing. And subscribe and come hang out with me on Instagram, Olivia Sarafina, and tune in for an episode every other Thursday. Sometimes it may be every Thursday, but my plan is every other Thursday. And in between those weeks that you're not getting this, you'll be getting Sister Signs with me and my friend Zinga. So thank you so much. Bye. Have a lovely day. Go shake a tail feather. Go walk outside. Go get some sun. Go have some fun. Go do your thing. You the one. Number one. I'm going to have a rap every time I do a podcast, just like the Sabrina nonsense outros. Love you. Bye.